Recording starts, we'll reckon on this. All right, so we're just going to do a couple dummy transactions here, and then we'll answer questions or, oh, actually, you know what? Hang on. Before we start, I made coffee and then I didn't get any.
You don't want to do that.
Is everything good for your closing cut?
Well, I hope so. I sent him an email this morning, a reminder of where it is. He didn't want me to pick him up from my cellar, my 92-year-old cellar.
Which
Oh,
one?
wow.
Lamplighter.
Oh, I was thinking it was,
Wealthy's Friday.
okay.
Okay, I'm not making two. So does anybody else want some warm up?
No, thanks.
Good morning.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, how are you? Am I gonna have to read that screen or just follow you? Because I have to go get different places. Okay.
It will. What do you mean? It'll be everything. You can follow like on your computer if you want. It's up to you. I'll tell you later.
Oh.
Actually, I'll just mute this.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, so
Just need proper training.
maybe so. All right, we're gonna do. Actually, I'll do it from the very beginning. Oh, you really have to click a lot of buttons to get into Real Comp.
Real Comp will take you 100 different places too. I have no idea where you're going. That one you just went to.
So the easy way, so you can get in if you were in the previous screen, you can get to Remine from there, but I've just been accessing it from here. Yay for that. And it seems like it works like 3/4 of the time. So we're just going to start. We'll just literally create a transaction. So we're still working with Real Comp on the listing side of things because it is still a little bit squirrely. Just to like in Transaction Desk, you would just open up your MLS profile form and then submit it right from there. Not so with this. So it seems like there is going to be, and I'm going to test this out later today with Stina, that you can submit certain things to have your admins review them. But I will kind of test that and let you guys know. So we'll just start from kind of square one. And then I think some of this will be just showing little quirks and little stupid stuff too. Easy just to select. Do you have a,
We're doing buying or selling?
we'll start with buy side.
Okay.
Like you got a listing address that's still like
Active.
active.
500 enclave.
Oh yeah, we'll use Carrie's. That's right. Oh, we actually can hear. That actually is cool.
Gary, oh.
There we go. So it's gonna, and we're gonna put Kim as the buyer because that's always fun. And I would edit them right off the bat. So that way, if you don't do it now, I have not seen a better place to do it later. So if you need to add any additional buyers or anything like that, add it now. I don't know, like in Transaction Desk, you used to have that contacts tab. I don't see that here. So you can change people for each kind of individual document.
I hit entered and it just disappeared.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. So I went to my transactions, it's not there, maybe I'll go back to the dashboard.
Yeah, and then create a transaction.
Yeah.
Peter, you have to download all the transactions of Transaction Desk.
We have to what, Carrie?
You have to download all your transactions in the Transaction Desk as well as in my RCO.
I don't know if she's talking or not.
You
I
have
thought
to,
it would. I could
Oh.
hear it. No, shoot. Alice, can you hear Carrie on your end? I can hear Carrie. I don't know why I can't on here.
Son of a gun.
What was she
I
saying?
did it again.
there was a bulletin and it said you have to download all your contacts from Transaction Desk and
Yeah.
from my RCO and import them into Remine.
sorry, I should have clarified that. What I was saying is there is within the transaction, it doesn't seem like there's a good way to edit the transaction contacts. So like if you have Mr. Buyer and Mr. Seller, but then you have to add, you know, seller's mom that's a cosigner, I'm not sure that there's a good way to do that for the whole transaction.
Oh my gosh.
Like there was in
Got it.
transaction.
I did
Okay.
it again. I've done it 3 times.
I
What are
did
you
too.
doing?
Well, no, I didn't hit
Yeah, I'll
enter.
tell you.
If you tap,
No,
my
you tap,
thing's
yeah.
touch screen, and if I tap to
Like-
the side,
It goes
Yeah,
away.
you can't hit enter. You actually have to select it.
Yes.
uh,
Put there.
Yeah, you actually have
Yeah,
to click.
And then you have to.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is what I
And then
did.
you do the same thing with buyers.
Instead of do the same thing,
Okay.
can't hit enter.
And so then I went down here and I put Kim Turner and mistakenly hit enter and it disappears. It can't get
And
back.
Kim Turner.
Yeah, that's, so Kim brought this up, guys, that there is, if you create your transaction here and you just hit enter, like if I just typed 6,500 enclave and hit enter, it may or may not work, and it probably will not.
Goes
If you do
away.
full legal.
Yeah, it probably will not work. So be cautious of that. Make sure that you click
I don't even have a-
and wait for it to kind of auto populate here. You don't have a what?
That's great. I'll just.
This is what I think this is gonna be a lot of, is like, oh, this is screwing up and that's screwing up.
No, I'm already past it. I
Okay.
didn't have a, no, I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
This is why I was like, I have no plan for this. We're just gonna see what screws up.
So if I screw up and get out of the whole thing, where do I go to find what I just did?
So you go to my transactions and you should see it. Did you find it?
Yep.
Okay, so then once you hit next,
Oh, okay, got it.
so the mistake that you're going to get, and I don't know why it defaults to this, maybe is you're gonna come right to forms, skip that, go to packages, because if you're gonna go to forms and you hit Coalbank, Remaining Birmingham, it's going to bring you the gigantic list. And I suppose that if you only needed like 2 documents, you could do that, but that would make a lot more sense to go to the CBW in Clarkston, and then you can pick the sell package, the buy package. And then the third package we have here, we kind of talked about this. Was it the sales meeting that we talked about agency? It was at one of our meetings, where we're kind of recommending that you guys start doing your buyer agency and designated or just Form K earlier in the transaction before you're actually writing the offer, just to kind of legally protect you even more. So if you just want to do that, it's right here.
Where?
It's right on this package here. It's that designated buyer agency and disclosure agency
I'm gonna
package.
be your worst person.
That's okay.
Mm.
Oh,
I don't know, you got a lot
Wait,
of
wait,
competition
Oh,
over here.
Packages, yeah.
Yep, so go to packages, and then
I
just-
went to- It
That is
defaults
awesome.
to forms,
And then just
so you
hit-
have to pick packages.
we're doing buyer, so you can just select buy packages and it grabs you everything.
I'm way back.
Okay.
I'm in the way back machine over here. So I have buy side, right?
Mhm.
And I put in Kim and Peter, you're buying it together,
Okay.
and there's Carrie,
Mhm.
and there's no room for buyer broker.
Because it already has picked up that that's you.
So then you go,
Okay, and then I go here.
Nope, because this is what we were saying, is this is where it tricks you.
oh,
Okay,
that is
package.
awesome.
Got it.
This is
Now
gonna
I-
make it
I
so
understand.
Yeah.
This is
And then-
literally gonna make it a breeze.
And then buy package.
Got it.
Yep.
it's a
Thank
little
you.
quirky in how we're used to do.
This is gonna be,
Hey,
don't,
for me, I'm an
this is
open
just gonna
book,
be
so,
what
I
this
mean,
whole
is
class
gonna
is
be
wait a minute,
great.
what the hell
Everything's right there.
Because that's how it-
I could tell this is gonna be awesome.
I probably have, I don't know, 10 to 20 hours at this point between trying to figure this out, between watching the webinars, between calling Real Comp. And so some of these things, and I don't have everything figured out, but hopefully most of it, but
Okay,
it took a
just
lot of
curious,
figuring out
under
here.
the
$100 per
designated
hour.
buyer agency
Yeah.
agreement, one that you have.
Mhm.
It says newer version of form is available.
It might be. I thought I went in and I was seen on Real Comp yesterday and I updated those, but maybe not.
So we don't go through and click everything that we
Nope.
want
You just have to click
to buy.
the check mark of buy package. Now, if you are like me and you really don't like stuff cluttering up, so the buy package is now, at least until I have to change something, in the exact order that your sales checklist is. So that, because if you're like me, I think of everything in that sales checklist. I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm missing just, Form K, it should be. And that's what threw us off in
Oh.
Skyslope for a while, is because it wasn't in the order, and we were like, please put it in the order of the sales checklist.
So now
The
you
other
can
thing
uncheck
too,
things you
while
don't
we're
want.
on there, and it just escaped my brain when we were talking. Oh, we no longer have to use the COVID addendums.
Right.
Yes.
But for Peter to take them out there, he has to have time to rearrange it. Anytime he takes something off of it, it destroys the,
the order.
the order.
Which
So
is-
he will get it done, but,
I did for the buyer side, but not for the,
Okay.
not for the list side yet. So yeah, but let's say that you just don't want, I actually am thinking this might be a conversation Kim and I have later. We really don't need L3, L1 and seller's disclosures on a buy package because they're going to be coming in through the listing side.
Right? You
it's a
don't-
good idea.
Can you do a shortened, like a typical buy package that takes out half of the stuff that we never use?
That's actually a fantastic idea. I absolutely can do that.
So we could do short version buyer package.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that might be get a little bit. You know what we might just do is just do that as the regular buy package, and then if you need squirrely stuff, then go grab it from forums. Because like you're probably not going to use short sale addendum. You're probably not
Exactly.
going to use.
What is MI application?
I think that's the home warranty application, right?
We do need to have that in there.
Yeah, I think that's the home warranty application.
That's a acronym.
But so maybe we'll do that, and maybe I'll create just like a,
That's a
hey,
good
this is
idea.
the these are the documents you use all the time. And then if you need,
Yeah.
but we'll leave like an FHA addendum. We use that a lot. So
Sure.
we'll leave kind
Yeah.
of.
The more typical one.
So, but if you don't have a FHA,
I guess the
loan, you
only
can just
really
click
one-
it and it's not used.
Right,
And you don't
right.
have to, but if you don't have to fill all these out. If you don't, you can just leave it and it'll just be an empty form in the file.
Yeah.
But if you are sending it to, so with Alex's question, if I just don't do anything with the FHA form, when I get ready to send it to the other agent, is it gonna be in there? or
No, you can just, yeah, you can just totally
Will
leave it
be
alone.
better to uncheck it?
It would, yeah, if you're like me and you just want to see what you want to see, I would, so let's just assume that, let's just for giggles say that we couldn't buy this FHA anyways, and we couldn't buy it VA actually. Because it's, here's point. So let's just grab the things that we actually need.
What
I'm
rate
gonna-
would Beach or
FHA limit is 276 in Oakland County. It's
Mhm.
like in the 270s somewhere.
what's just a median?
No,
What's
there's
the
a,
value of
there's
that?
a, I'll go over that with you later, but there's a per county like FHA limit.
Gotcha.
And this property is like listed at like six something. I should
Yeah.
know it, but I have not. Carrie's told me a couple times. So we're just going to use, we know it's not.
So you're unchecking things.
Yeah.
right?
So we're just going to leave a bunch of this stuff off because we don't need it. We're going to assume that we're going to be using the electronic EMD because that's what we're encouraging you guys to do so that you get them in on time. And we don't have to provide a copy of Protect Your Family from Blight in your home if it's because it's built after 78. So we're going to keep with the big stuff: sales checklist, transaction worksheet, purchase agreement, Form K, designated buyer, and then we know we're going to have some addendums somewhere, and that should be good. And you know what's not in here? Oh yeah, it is designated buyer agency. In transaction desk, it was called designated buyer. It was called something else
Oh,
other than
okay.
designated buyer agency. All right, and then so you'll be able to see what your selections are here.
Okay, I got a question.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Under that where it says, back out to the left, it says designated buyer agency agreement and disclosure.
That's the other package. That's that package that if you're just starting to work with a
Oh,
buyer,
okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, we're kind of encouraging you that if you just start to work with a buyer, that maybe you have them fill these ones out.
Kind of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's just Peter speaking, I know that.
Yeah, we're encouraging you to have them sign these so that there is no question of what your agency relationship is.
At what time?
And at what time. Again, we're if there's lawsuits, it'd be great to say we disclosed right up front. It wasn't when we were writing the offer 10 minutes before. So do that. And then if you've done that properly, then when you come through here, you can actually leave these two off, and then you have less docs in your file there. All right, we're then going to hit next, and we're actually going to be in the transaction. So I think this is one of the places that you can really get hung up. Again, the big thing is grab the package first. And now we've got this nice clean setup here, which is nice. If for whatever reason, so they're not still bringing in, for whatever reason, it's not, transaction desk would do it occasionally, but not all the time, would kind of auto-populate or not auto-populate, but would auto-import seller's disclosures and lead-based paint, and Remine is not doing that.
Oh, really?
It doesn't look like it.
No,
Well,
they
they
had a
did
little
it
bit
kinda
base
at the
paint in
end.
the last one, didn't they?
It's not, but it's not, so like the lead-based paint that you would see that was on that form was just the blank one. Carrie's already got it filled out with her, and actually, oh, there we are, VDocs, yeah. See, it really should be that this is actually already in the transaction documents, and I'm not sure why that is.
Well, this is awesome.
So, but we'll download those, and then to upload into the transaction, super easy. Just hit upload.
So we don't fill out the purchase agreement now, we hit the upload?
I'm just going to add in her disclosures.
Oh, so hit the upload, did we pull them from somewhere or?
Yeah, I just went to the listing and pulled them.
So I'm still on that screen. So
Mhm.
at the top is upload, at the bottom is next. Do I hit?
Oh,
upload?
yeah, you could upload right then.
What's a better, is it better?
You can also do it right once you're in the transaction too. Doesn't matter. That beep normally means that someone's trying to get in the meet, but maybe not. Oh, it's because Len joined. Hi, Len. Oh, and a couple other folks joined. Excellent. Welcome aboard. I can't see who everybody is. It just says 4 others, but
Yeah.
Vicky and somebody else. Welcome. And this is if you popped in late, it's cool. It's all being recorded. It'll be on the Clarkston Training YouTube channel that you have access to. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll help you. All right.
Where do those download into?
Just probably into your downloads. It's wherever you have your computer set up to do it.
And then beauty.
So then now that'll be in with your transactions.
So
So
you went out of this and pulled her, how did you do that without?
I just went into Real Comp and hit the view docs, just like you would have done
Okay.
transactions.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why it doesn't. Realistically, it should have just, and I'm going to try and find out if they're
Well, I know
planning to
on
do that.
Transaction desk, it didn't do it till they were sitting there until you got to, I think you got to a point in Affinassign.
Yeah, because Transaction Desk had documents and they had forms, and the
Right.
forms were anything that was like editable. Now it's all just documents. So they're all kind of, no matter what you put in, whether it's a smart form quote or not, it's going to be still just in this one spot.
Okay.
So, all right, now it's in a weird order because I ended up dragging stuff around here. I say normally this should be in the order that it is on the sales checklist. So we're going to go into our first doc here, just purchase agreement. And then filling out purchase agreement is going to be the exact same as it was in Transaction Desk. So you can add in what you're including, whatever your appliances are.
Not all. stainless
Yes,
steel.
please not all stainless steel appliances, and please not as seen in MLS, or as, what did I see the other day? As listed or as seen on.
As per ML.
Yes, as per.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go, we don't need to go over filling out the whole purchase agreement, right? I'm just thinking if we do, we're
Right.
gonna be
No,
here
no,
for
it's
6
okay.
months.
Carrie's like, yes, please.
Yeah. She's like, sign this, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm pre-approved. So it will then show you, you'll see that these are, in Transaction Desk, you wouldn't see these until you were in Authentisign and you had the template loaded. And at least Macomb's templates were always wrong for like 2 of the docs. So you can actually see right where they are. If for whatever reason you need to change who these signatures are, because you cannot change these right now because they're the smart form, which sometimes is smart and sometimes is not. Oh, also, sorry, one note on the purchase agreement. I was taught, and Kim, if this is wrong, Kim will certainly correct me here. I was always taught to never leave any spaces blank on the PA. That is no longer an option. So like, for example, here, you cannot do NA.
On,
So we do,
You do a sum of
We do
zeros.
at
like a
closing.
0?
you can do 0,
Uh-huh.
but you cannot do not applicable. So just kind of a heads up there, guys.
So
You,
where are you trying?
Can you
to-
leave them blank so you can write that in?
No. Oh, yeah,
um,
but if you're sending it electronically,
Oh.
doing the whole thing from start to finish, you don't want to have to print it.
Right. But certain fields, if you hit at closing, they just do not allow you to put anything in.
Is there a way we can throw it in a PDF and do that or something?
I think it's going to be Kim's going to have to make or somebody's going to have to make the call of what we're going to do. I don't know that it's the end of the world, but I'm not confident enough to say what we're going to do with this at this
We
point.
don't want, I mean, we have a wide range of knowledge in our agents. So, someone who's done a lot of business might know which blanks they could leave blank and it would be safe. But you, Alex, you're not
Yeah, I'm not.
you're
gonna
not
have
going
any
to
idea.
have that, ability.
And putting $0
So-
and 0 cents when something might not, you know what I mean? If there might be a number there,
Right.
Well, the thing is you don't want somebody to have the ability to add something afterwards. That's why you don't leave anything blank.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Peter, can we use the markup feature?
Yeah,
Peter?
you can use the markup feature. I'm going to add that. I'm going to talk about that in 1 second.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Thank
So
you.
just interesting.
As an alternative to fill in a blank.
Check marks added like title, it defaults to other.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yes, and it shouldn't.
Yeah, just a heads up, and well in septic, there's a default.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure that you're
Oh, well,
checking those. Yeah, there's like what she's saying is here, like at title, it defaults to other, which it should default to banker's title.
Oh.
And
Also, guys, just kind of a blanket statement,
I did one the other
especially
day.
if you're newer. Go ahead, Dana.
I did one the other day and it did not default to banker's title, just so you know.
It doesn't. Yeah, it defaults to other for some reason. So we need to have that
Yeah.
fixed.
Yep.
And just kind of a blanket, especially if you're newer, if you're writing a PA and you're unsure of anything, please send it to me or send it to Kim and I think I had somebody review my PAs for 2 years. Maybe not 2 years, but maybe for a year, for a while. My first probably 10 or 12. And for my listings, I had somebody review, especially if it was it's going to be goofy, like a Max Brook that has 4 different PA variants. Sometimes even now it's good to have a second set of eyes on something. So,
And I get that from even the agents that do a lot.
Yeah.
Will say, "Will you just review it?" So just so you know, even the ones that do lots of business ask us to do that.
Yeah.
And there should be no.
and I mean, sometimes honestly, when you do more business, you're more likely to miss something because
Well,
it's
that's
I know this. And then you miss something like tax prorations being changed. And there's a couple of different things we've seen on PAs lately that are squirrely. So, but Carrie brought up a really good point. So if you need to change, let's say that we've got we're crossing something out or we're making a counter offer. What you have to do, and I know Dana, you ran into this on Saturday, when it is in this smart form format, you can't change anything except for what they've allowed you to change. What you need to do is convert it to PDF over here on the side. And it will leave everything that's there. So it'll leave all the initials that were already there. But now what it's going to allow you to do is if you are unsure of something, it's going to allow me to physically actually, okay, except for now there's an error. Yay for that. Thanks, Remine. Okay, let's refresh it.
Just the error message.
It was just mine.
Oh, okay.
So you can then select, let's say that you want an additional, initial, maybe that you want, the nice thing is you can actually have a full, let's say that you have a complete clause that you want removed. You can do a full crossed out rectangle. Obviously we would not get rid of earnest money, but just as an example there.
Oh.
That's
Or you can do straight lines. You can do a couple of different things there so that you don't have to freehand draw like me and you end up with weird squiggles. But let's say that I really wanted to make sure I had 0 blanks. I could use that text box feature and slide that into where I want it, theoretically speaking, if it'll let me.
How do you find the refresh button? You gotta go back to it. I don't see it now.
It was if
Oh, I
it gave you an
see.
error, it's just your browser.
Just, I want to ask a question and so you see how tiny the MLS number is and how tiny the address is?
No way of fixing that as far as I'm aware.
Can you do it in the text?
You could delete it and put it in a text box. But it seems just that that's the way it's coming through.
What, for the MLS?
Yeah, the MLS number and then the legal description and
Oh,
and the good thing is they are somewhat helpful when it comes to, hey, can we change this or that? But so we're working on some of those things. So this would be the spot if you, let's say that you had grabbed another document. So for example, this, when we've uploaded the disclosures, these are not going to be a smart form. You would have to convert to PDF to initial there. So let's actually, we'll do that from the outset here. So, but just to finish up with that purchase agreement, let's say that we were doing everything totally standard. Oh, now we can't convert back though, I don't think. Just smart form.
There's a lock button with that. No?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is once you've converted from a smart form, it is now, so make sure that if you're, this is actually a good, I didn't
What
think
about
to bring this
previous
up
doc?
beforehand.
I'm sorry, what, Carrie?
What about previous doc at the top of the document? What does that do?
It might allow us to, okay, yeah, there we go, smart version. See, Carrie should be teaching us, not me. There's, yeah, okay. So Carrie brought up a great thing again here. You can revert it back, but if you, like me, are probably going to forget how to revert it back, make sure before you need to add any, initials, or if you're adding anything, fill it out first and then convert it to PDF. Is that, any questions on the purchase agreement itself? Okay.
So are you not able then to put other terms in?
Yeah, you are. Just the
Because I'm
button.
not seeing how to do that.
It's all the way. You're now a PDF. That's what we're saying. You got to revert
I
back
went
now.
back to, I
Nope.
did, no,
so you go to the history?
uh-huh.
And then
Oh, I did.
you gotta hit, you have to hit that version and then you have to hit revert.
Oh.
That's what I did that too.
Okay. That's complicated.
There's some things that
Yes,
that
it
are,
is.
yes, they are. So the other thing is you'll notice that it does not have a witness spot. Personally,
What does?
there is not a witness signature preloaded in for the purchase agreement.
Or a place to type one.
There is not.
Got it.
Kim's gonna again correct me if I'm wrong here. In my opinion, I don't sign witnesses personally. Is that, am I fine saying that?
But I don't know that there's a company policy.
Okay. So we'll say the company policy is ambiguous. We will find out if anyone has the question on that. I don't sign it. And the reason that I have not signed is I'm not witnessing, and I don't know that that person that's signing electronically is the person that's signing. So I don't want to put my name on something saying, oh, I witnessed them
I
sign
asked about
this.
that when I first got here. That's what I was told. Yeah, you can witness it, but I don't know that that's company policy, and I had the exact same thoughts as you. I can't see what they're doing.
And as far as I'm aware, I have been doing this now for like 2 years and no one's ever said anything to me.
It's
So,
not really.
and I also was like, well, it's one last thing for me to deal with. And now that it's defaulted not, I'm like, I'm not going to convert this out and then put mine, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it when I don't have to.
And Peter and
That's just my opinion. I don't know why that there's not the signature should sign and give a date stamp. But if it doesn't, you may have to add a date in there. So any of the other docs should be about the same when it comes to.
So what did you just hit?
So on your left hand kind of side here, this is actually nicer than Transaction Desk, I will admit, is you can easily navigate to a different page, or you can easily navigate to a different doc instead of having to go up, hit file, open, and then the basket comes up and you got to open it.
Okay, so you've typed everything in that you need to load it. You don't have to hit save. It
Nope.
auto
Saves for you.
Okay, got it.
So we're not going to go through doc by doc because we got some stuff we got to go through on the listing side if we're going to get through this in an hour.
Peter, on the purchase agreement addendum, can you cut and paste from Word and put an escalation and appraisal clauses? Or do you have to convert to PDF to do that?
So you can, but there's actually that's actually a great thing. What we're going to do is, as a company, Kim and I talked about this, but we're going to have some of those clauses that are set up for you so that you guys don't have to worry about verbiage. So we will have some clauses that are going to be done. Is this already one? Did I write this one or did someone else?
No, that's in yours only because I don't have one.
Oh, that was on. I'm sorry. I wrote that. Okay. Yep. So what we'll do then is we'll have a couple of company clauses that it would say, let's say escalation clause, and then you'll just be able to add it in. And it will, let's just for giggles here, we're at an addendum. So we'll have those done when Kim and I get around to it soon. For escalation clause, appraisal guarantee. What's the other one? That we've been doing a lot. Inspection one. Let me write those down so that I know that those are the ones.
Okay, so just so everybody is aware, and Carrie did send me an email. I think I sent it to John. I'm not sure. The Michigan Realtors came out with an addendum to use. And really probably because they got so many questions. I have to run that by John North, and the company will have to add that if they're going to use it. I think it's a good form also. But just be aware that we can't just add, even though it comes from the Michigan Realtors, we can't add that. Company has to add it.
Yeah, so we'll have some, and that would be good because then okay, this is the clause everybody in the company's using. My verbiage is, if you were like me, and I know that we've got a couple other actual former attorneys in the group here, but I was raised by one, and I was always told that, especially once I got in real estate, that write as if an attorney is going to be picking apart not just the meaning of what you say, but the actual words you choose and even your punctuation.
Good.
So remember that. So the less that we can have you guys actually writing, the better off we all are. Now those of you who are attorneys, hey,
Put a cap on my escalation clause.
yeah. And for the love of God, please, if I get another full appraisal guarantee that does not have a cap, guys, they're just going to use it and get out of the deal because they're going to get denied for their mortgage. Was it Michelle that literally just happened?
No, what?
That they had an
No,
uncapped
there's
escalation clause, and it was like wild, or not escalation, but uncapped appraisal guarantee, and it was wildly low, and they were just like, "Man, see ya."
It wasn't Michelle. But,
Oh, it's somebody, yeah.
yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know that would be a way to get out.
well, even if they lose their deposit, it would still,
Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be afraid every time I wrote that. There are some people who are sophisticated enough to do that and also have the money back at.
yes.
But I would probably follow up with an email or have them sign something like the addendum that states that they have a clear understanding of what that means.
And that then, if you're the listing agent, that then their
Yes.
EMD is now
So,
non-refundable.
Bill Clark always taught us to, after a conversation is, to follow it up in an email stating this is what I understand our conversation to be, and
All right.
please confirm that we are in agreement.
We have someone here for closing, but she doesn't know where she's supposed to be.
Right to the front desk.
Awesome.
Just
There we go.
somebody who can help you there.
Mhm.
All right, so once you've filled everything out, and like I said, the disclosures are going to come in only as a PDF, so you are going to have to still manually add your initials or your signatures. So the great thing is you don't have to, like in Authentisign, you had to click, drag and drop, and then click and drag and drop. Here, once you've got initials for that person, you can then keep clicking if you so desire.
Okay. I can't be the only one, and even if I am, where did you go to get the disclosures?
I just downloaded them from RealComp.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you
even know
have
how to
to
use-
go,
Oh.
yeah, because then you went back to RealComp dashboard or.
So I just pulled the listing up.
You pulled the docs?
Yep, and then view docs.
I think in the look.
Where do you go for it?
They
They
used
do
to
a
in
transaction
transaction desk, if they were uploaded right. But yeah, they used to. And
Okay, so can you walk through how you did this then?
yeah, So what I did was I went to her listing, view docs, and then they popped up,
Okay.
and then download all.
So
Okay.
a word to the wise, I guess what we need to do is before you start the transaction is download them. It just will be easier to
Mhm.
download them.
Yep, and then that's where you can hit upload here and grab them
And drop them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so I got used to doing that because you guys. So we were Real Source, and within Real Comp, it would always auto import. Well, with Real Source, so cross MLS disclosures would not import. So I just got used to downloading them and uploading them anyways. I wish this would just auto import anyways, but it might be something they're working on. So, but it is going to show up until they do that. It's going to show up as a PDF.
Okay. And then when it's a PDF, how do you?
Then you'll have the toolbar on the top here.
Uh-huh.
So we can just, okay, hang on, I'll get rid of this for a second. So we can just do initial, and then we want it to be Kim. And then click, and if I need to do initial again, I can clickety click, click. And instead of dragging and drop individually like you had to do on Authentisign. So
Why is it put that AD on top? What is that about?
I believe that is showing that's like not signed as what's in red, but I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say I don't know, guys. Just so you know.
And then,
And then I'm not gonna BS yet. And then for signatures, it's the same thing. And then click, and then once you do this, it'll give you the option. Do you want it to be just signature, time and date, or just the date? And there you go. You can also, while you're in this, if you want to, if you're like, oh man, that's the wrong person, you can change who it is. Or you can duplicate, let's say that you've got husband and wife, you can then just duplicate and change. And now you, with just a click, you've got both signatures. So that's yay for that, which that makes things easy. Oh, this is an L1. If it was an L3, where the check boxes are, because it's that PDF, it is not going to just allow you to check it. So what you'll just do then is you'll just do draw check mark and use that for the seller has no knowledge of that sort of thing. You know what? Let me grab one and
how
let me well, I'm going to grab one and I'm going to show you. So so there's a different disclosure for lead-based paint if the house is built in 1978 or later. Let me just grab an L3 and I'll show you guys.
So an L3 is before 1978.
And if you want to be totally safe, you can use the L3 for everything. And a lot of people do. So I'm not like a stickler for oh, you must use the L1. I mean,
Well,
L3 on a house.
so do I, but
I do too. And I want our agents to just use that because it's simpler.
yeah, I would prefer that.
Then if they don't fill it out correctly, it's like you're filling out something that isn't, it
And it doesn't need to be filled out.
Incorrect, yes. It's
Yeah.
an
Is it
incorrect
like
form.
signing a check and depositing a check when you know that there's a dispute?
Right.
You signed a check.
Yeah.
I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah. Just use the L1 and you know that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The L1 is there for a reason. So like I said, this is not coming up smart form checkbox. So what you'll have to do with the L3, no matter how you're doing it, is you're going to have to convert it to PDF. So I think that I understand the thinking here so let me revert back and I'll show you. Because I understand the thinking. I disagree with the thinking, but I understand it. So if you actually read this, I think that it's this one, isn't there one, it's if applicable? That you know what? I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, okay, we're not going to go into that. We'll convert to PDF. And just again, we'll use the draw function, the check mark. And that will be, or I suppose you could also use text box and use an X, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other.
Yeah.
So
So you guys
Easy
use
peasy.
L1.
if it's built after 1978.
Oh, this house was.
All right, let's talk signatures. So the very easy way, let's say that it's just straightforward. We're not changing anything. We're just going to sign as is. There, we didn't have to change any signatures. All we're going to do is once we've filled all of our docs out, we're going to select the ones we need them to sign. And then we'll go over.
So how do I convert it back to smartphone once I've done the check marks? I'm sorry.
Once you, if you don't have to convert it back to a smart form, you don't have to unless you have fields you still need to fill out.
Oh, okay. So
Yep,
I
you can just
go
leave it
through
as a
them and then
PDF.
done.
Yep. Guys, just as a heads up, this is 100% going to go over an hour. So I will remind you again at 10:30, but if you want to pop out, you absolutely feel free. So, but I just can tell this is going to go a little bit later because we still got some listing stuff to do. And this is being a pain in the butt. So once you're ready to sign, select everything that you need to sign.
Okay, I got another question.
Uh-huh.
How did you get to the screen? I'm still on the one with the documents down the left.
That's what, oh, so you're still like on the purchase agreement?
Yeah,
You just go back,
okay.
Yep.
Here.
just right up here.
I just went- Okay.
And if for whatever reason, let's say that there's somebody that doesn't need to be in the transaction, but they need to be on this particular document. I'm trying to think of when that would be applicable. Let's say that you had,
Like a transaction coordinator?
no, like, somebody that might only need to be on one doc. Like, let's say you had, you know what? You're not going to run into that very often. If you, for whatever reason, needed to add someone specifically to this document, you can go up to people and add them in here. All right, so from here, again, if you needed to navigate, you can navigate to other documents, but if you want to go back to just kind of your whole. The other nice thing is this will tell you too, if let's say that somebody's filling out a doc, it'll tell you that this is either in progress or you haven't touched it yet. So just kind of a nice little way to. So once we're going to sign, we're going to grab whatever we need to sign. And be very, if your computer is at all like mine is, where it's a little bit left click, right click sensitive, be very careful because these check marks are, they're like click radius is small. If that makes sense. Like if you click just like here, it's not going to grab it. Yeah, it's going to do that.
Yeah.
Which is then again a pain in the butt. And then we're going to hit, just hit sign. So if you need to sign as the agent, you can just hit sign now, and it doesn't have to like authentisign where it sends you an email. You can just come in, boom, click to sign, click, and you're done. So it's definitely easier for you as the agent. And I suppose if your client happened to be sitting right there, they could do the same thing. Like I actually had that where somebody was sitting right there, and I said, okay, hey, you can. So instead of having them having to log into their email, you know, they could just sign like that. So, but if you are having somebody sign that is not sitting right there with you, what you'll do is you'll hit send to sign. Now, a quick note, if you have two buyers or two sellers, when you get to this stage, your party members, it will show as the default is that it will do in ordered signing. So one, it's going to go to buyer one and then buyer two. You can uncheck that if you'd like. That's kind of what I would recommend.
So it'll use the same document and have them both sign it and send you over the document with their signatures, or is it gonna send you two different sides?
No, so it'll send you one document, but what it'll default to is it's an ordered signing. So like, let's say that you and Peg are signing this doc, it will default to that. Okay, Peg, you has to sign before you can access it.
No,
Whereas I would prefer just to have it be whoever gets
Yes, sir.
first come, first serve kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, what all you then do is hit send to sign. And then if you need to, so again, if you want somebody maybe just to, let's say somebody's reviewing, but they're not signing it, this is where you would add them. Or maybe you said, hey, I want Peter to take a quick look at this. You can add them as a recipient to view only. If you were so inclined, oh, go ahead. I thought I heard somebody.
I had a question. If, when you said that they could, sign on, everybody signed together, but it's on your computer, how do you know that Carrie signed, that Kim Turner signed if she's signing on my computer?
I mean, you would know that because you physically witnessed it. But
I-
like, are you saying like, could somebody use that fraudulently? I mean, yeah, they could. Is that what you're asking?
Well, yeah, because anybody could use your computer and force someone else's signature, and then you've got a document, and it's your word against Kim's, you know?
Yeah.
That's their email, their personal email.
No, because we were saying if they are signing right there, and that's, yeah, to be on the safe side, I would say just send to sign. Because yeah, like you said, it would show that they signed. And I'm not sure how it would, I don't know like what their log looks like, but it would show that, hey, they signed right from the system. So yeah, if you are worried about that, just send to sign. And then it will definitely show up that, hey, they had to access their email to do so.
I have two more questions. I don't know. If
Yeah.
Can I reorder the documents before I send them out?
You would reorder them in the, believe that you'd have to reorder them. Oh crap, hang on. Oh, now where'd we go? This
Right there, right there.
There we are. So you would have to, I believe you'd have to reorder them in the documents list here. It's not like Authentisign where you can reorder them in the signing itself. So you would actually have to, like, let's say I want Form K up here, I'd actually have to do it right. And that's why I tried to put them. Carrie, do you normally put them in the order that they're on the sales checklist, or do you use a different order?
No, I put the purchase agreement first. I mean, but when I send it out.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. So I would just make sure that it's in the order you want on this docs page.
And the other question is, if you converted a purchase agreement to a PDF and marked it up, when you go to send it out, is it going to send out the PDF version, or do I have to go somewhere else and capture
Yeah,
that?
it'll send out whatever that version was that you were operating in last.
Thank you.
And one more question. What's the copy transaction email thing? What is that for?
I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, I'll actually answer this. Does that answer your question though, Carrie? That it'll auto save everything. So if you have a PDF version that's marked up and you send that out, that's the version that's going to send out.
Well, I love that. Can you show us one more time how we make it so
Yeah.
every document goes out? I have two signed. So where do I go for that?
Yeah, hang on. So we're going to just mark it up, and we're going to have Kim sign in a silly place, and we're going to do a text box. Oh shoot, I just sent this to you to
Dan
sign.
had a question. Where do you deselect the quote sign in or order function?
I'll show her. Shoot. I was gonna email this to you to sign. I'll put my email
Okay,
and
that's
I'll
fine.
be
No,
you.
no, go ahead. I
That's
just
fine.
need to go pull some things.
See, I'm just gonna, now Carrie, you'll be able to see that this is, that's how that's gonna be done here.
Quietly, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually I'll sign as Kim here because she's gotta go do something. So, Ann was asking how you deselect. What I would have to do is I'll try and add someone else here to see. The thing is, it's only gonna import whoever you have as a buyer. If you had, shoot, you know what? Hang on. I have to do a new transaction here to do that because I need two buyers. Hang on. I'm going to show you guys how to do it with two buyers. Sorry, give me 1 second. And then I'm going to go back into the other transaction because that's the one that was kind of marked up the way I wanted. Okay, so if you had, like we said, two parties here, what we would do is this is where you're going to see this. It'll say active recipients will receive items in specified order. Click here to disable sending sequence. And that's what you would want to do. At least I would. I mean, Authentisign gave you the option to have it.
What is the point of that? I don't understand.
Some people would rather have them sign in order. It's just a preference thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you read it.
Is there a way we can disable that, so it always goes the other way?
No, you have to disable it for every signing. I know, I wish there was just a preference or like, hey, this is a default, but it's, as far as I'm aware, there's not. But I can find out if that's possible. If you have something that, let's say that you know that the other agent is using Remine as well, and you have that you've discussed an addendum, theoretically you could have sent it to everyone to sign at once, both sides. I would be very cautious doing that just because is the agent going to review it? Oh, hey, you sent my buyer something to sign. That to me is kind of treading on some toes there. I wouldn't want to do that. I've got to be Kim. Committing fraud. So this is the way that it will come through then. I got to find my email. So it will come through.
Wow.
This is what the client view will be. It will say, Peg has shared documents with you. Then they can hit view all docs. Okay, I forgot the browser thing is a little bit squirrely. So it's going to let them know, yay. And so, Carrie, when you're asking about the final variant, it's going to, whatever that last variant was is what it's going to show up for you. So then they'll hit sign and it'll jump them through their signatures. You can do whatever you want, just like Authentisign.
Hey, Donnie, I'm getting it on Amazon a few years ago. That's kind of funny.
And again, just like Authentisign, make sure that they hit the done when they're done, because otherwise it won't record it.
This is getting where it's at the column. So, I can just copy you on the Caliber Homes.
Okay, and then they'll hit done. Now what you will see from your end,
All of our title and stuff. I guess
and let them know they can review. I don't know if it sends them a copy afterwards of what they've signed like Authentisign did. Yep, okay, it does, sorry. It will send them just like Authentisign. So let them know it'll send them a PDF. And this is what it looked like on yours. Instead, it will let you know this is what they were doing. Okay, I need to be me though. This is why things got squirrely because I had to be Kim and not be me.
So, come together, come together.
So when you're looking at your transactions now, instead of having to go on Authentisign and see, oh, hey, wait a minute, where you'd see the flag and the gear wheel, it'll now tell you that signatures have changed on one of these documents, and it'll show you which ones. So you will then see whatever they signed. The plus side of this, so once let's say that you had a purchase agreement that you had shared to another agent, and we're going to show you how to do that, so let's say you want to send this over to, I want to send this to Carrie to submit. I am going to add it as, I can either send it to her to sign, or I can just send it to her as a view only. If you get a view only, the cool thing about that is going to be let's say we've gotten the offer, she's sent it back to sign, and then now you've sent a bottom line. If you're using the same document, what you'll see is someone will have shared, it'll show it as they shared it with you. And then it will actually, the signature changes will happen in real time. So like this agent sent me an addendum. He sent me a couple of addendums that weren't signed. His seller signed and it now shows up. You don't have to re-sign after, you don't have to like wait until everything's signed. It will show up in your folder. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Does that kind of handle the buy side? I'll do a couple quick things on the list side. And I said, if you guys got to take off, or if you Google Meet people have to take off, great, whatever. No one's keeping here. All right, so we're gonna get rid of these, and now we're gonna do listing. There, one thing that we don't still have figured quite out is submitting a listing. We're gonna see if we can we use the office address? We're gonna use the office address. This is gonna be a, we're gonna put in a listing here.
Maybe Hostler.
Yeah, I think it's a firm. So with the list side, again, we're going to do packages and then sell package. And I'm actually going to add in, there's not a sales checklist. There really should be a listing and a sales checklist on the sell package because you're going to sell your listing. So you're just going to pick sell package instead of buy package. Same thing. And I know that this property was, we're going to say that it was built after 1978, so I don't need that. And we know that it's, yeah, I should just I should do the same thing. Like, okay, hey, if you need vacant land or you need something else, like pick it. Yeah. These were, I think, can put everything in.
Yeah.
So we can then make our own. So I'll do that today, or probably not today. I know my schedule. It'll be like tomorrow. Yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll set that up. So because I can't do it from my computer because I'm not the like office admin. Stina is, so I have to be here and go on Stina's computer. Well, Stina is not on Real Comp, so sometimes that takes a little time. Yeah. So on the listing side, everything is about the same with a couple quick changes. Number one is we are trying to figure this out, and I will hopefully have an answer today. As of right now, you either have to input your listing the old way in Real Comp, but then you would actually have to fill this still out. So I'll be honest, I submitted in Transaction Desk. Hopefully I will have an answer for that today of how to just fill this out and submit it. Because that is the thing that irritated me. But so that is one difference, but I will hopefully have an answer for that. And when I do, I'll record a click-through video and send it. The other thing that just bugged me to no end was if you are just looking at, let's say, the seller's disclosures or the mortgage auth, something that your sellers actually had to fill out, there wasn't really, I couldn't figure out, okay, wait a minute, how do you send this out for them to actually fill out? So what you'll do is you actually just send, and they can send and sign at the same time. So instead of them filling it out, it comes back to you, and then you send it out again like you did in Transaction Desk. Now just make sure that the signatures are correct. So when we see, okay, we've got the signature there, we have the initials, that's good. And on the authorization,
Everybody wish Alan happy birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Alice.
birthday, Alice. We love birthdays.
this needs to be changed if there's no association, but we're working on that. So just check that these are the same or that they're correct. And then what you can actually do is
Yeah, I'll just scan it back.
just grab those two docs and just hit send. So, and then it will actually give them the ability to, you know what, I'm not, that's going to cause havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all you'll have to do is you'll send it and then it will show, you know what, I just won't open the email. And then it will pop up with all these. or it normally will, it'll pop up with all the, oh, hey, are you sure that you want to, I'm sorry, that's just if they're going to fill it out. If they're going to fill it out and sign, you'll actually send it just as a regular signature. Send to sign. And then what it will do is it'll pop up with, okay, and of course it didn't today. Normally it will pop up with, are you sure that you want to sign this? This, X fields are not filled out, but it will give them the ability
But that gives them the ability to
actually fill it all out. Yep. So they'll have,
Sometimes another set of eyes.
it'll now give them the ability to fill it out and then also to sign it. So that's nice.
That's easy.
So that's easy. And listen, some of these things is just knowing the little quirks and tricks. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really want to point out. Any other questions on what we've
Not for anything. She's literally waiting for the bank.
gone over?
All right.
Google Meet people, have we covered everything?
It's crazy that the lender part, it's everybody else.
Is the Google Meet still there? Okay. All right. Excellent. We will stop the recording and then